Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
So, welcome everybody. Today, in the session of the European Alliance Against Coronavirus, we are going to speak about the flagship Recharge and Refuel that, as you know, is inserted in the European Recovery and Resilience Facility. And the idea is to analyze what kind of projects, proposals are aligned with these flagships. But before introducing Christian Schweger, that will give us some concrete references from his cluster, we will have Nina Hoffman explaining us what is the flagship about. So Nina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. So today we have, as Antonio said, Recharge and Refuel. That is one of the 7 flagships guided by these 4 principles that Ola Engemann shared with us when we're talking about the RRF. We are working on environment, productivity, sustainability, and fairness, all for competitive sustainability for the national and recovery and resilience plans. And on the next slide, we see the 7 flagship areas that you, I'm sure, are already familiar with. The third one we are talking about today, Recharge and Refuel, mainly centers around sustainable transport and charging stations in Europe. And this flagship Recharge and Refuel, as described in the Annual Growth Strategy 2021, as the following, as it says here in the slide. Promoting future-proof clean technology to accelerate the use of sustainable, accessible and smart transport, charging and refueling stations and extension of public transport will make European cities and regions cleaner, accelerate the digital transition and contribute to reaching the Paris climate objectives. And they also name a very concrete aim. By 2025, the flagship will aim to build 1 out of 3 million charging points needed by 2030 and half of the 1,000 hydrogen stations needed. And 2 weeks ago, just a short reminder, Morgan Guillou from DG Grow was talking to us about how do we apply this the flagship to the mobility ecosystem and create the link to the European semester. As you know, the European semester publishes every year the country-specific recommendations, and these should also be taken into account when the member states draft their national recovery plans. And possibilities or examples, as it says here, of objectives applicable to the transport, mobility and autonomic ecosystem that are upskilling and reskilling, fostering R&I, strengthening resilience, reduction of emissions, innovative clean technology, circular economy, smart grid deployment, and of course the overall digitalization of the business and businesses and sectors, improving the business environment, revenue collection. All of these are possibilities, and these would also need to be aligned with the flagship itself. And there are, as you told us on the next slide, possibilities or visions to create EU growth, but also zero emission and zero fatalities. And this is where it could go for the mobility and transport automotive ecosystem. We talk on the one hand about clean vehicles, batteries, hydrogen, as we've seen in the flagship is also a very big point, future-proof technologies, so that we increase the market for electric cars and the market for sustainable transportation. And we have also smart mobility, and that could play a role in projects, talk about 5G, digital infrastructure, of course, artificial intelligence, big data, and also the changes in consumer behavior towards connected and automated vehicles. So all of these can project projects for the future. And for project investments, as you see on the next slide, we have covered under the resilience and recovery facility various possibilities of investments. So we talk about investments in fixed capital, human capital, or natural capital, as it is explained by the European Commission. So we can suggest projects for infrastructure buildings, research and training, for patents and software, for share of renewable resources, protecting the environment. It's a very broad spectrum that we have here. And all of them will, of course, be adapted to the templates available for the member states to propose in the end these projects. And today we have Christian here with us, who will tell us a bit about project ideas that he and his colleagues are involved in.
Thank you very much, Nina. So you have made even the introduction to Christian. So without any more delay, Christian, you are very welcome.
Thank you very much.
As you have only half an hour because you need to leave us on 9 o'clock.
Yes.
You can go on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Antonio. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you, Nina, for the introduction. Today, I'd like to concentrate my presentation on one of today's RRF flagship topics, namely refuel. I'd like to give you a brief glimpse of two projects, hopefully useful for decarbonizing transportation. Both of them are funded by the European Union's Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Programme. Both of them are dealing with hydrogen. As you can see on the next slide, the first project, Heimet Ship, is a cooperative R&D project which aims to drastically reduce emissions while improving the efficiency of waterborne transport, as shown on the next slide. The Heimet Ship system has the potential to achieve a reduction in CO2 emissions of up to 97% and practically eliminate SOx and particulate matter emissions. NOx emissions will fall by over 80%, safely below the UN's IMO Tier 3 limit. At the same time, an increase in efficiency of 45% compared to the technology with conventional CO2 capturing can be reached. On the next slide, you can see, for better understanding, the chart which shows schematically the fueling of the ship with methanol, convert it to hydrogen, and capture the CO2 in the process. The CO2 is stored on board, unloaded, and refed into the production process of methanol. If some of you are wondering what Styria has got to do with a shipping project, of course, the Heimet Ship project is run by a supranational consortium of strong partners from Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, Sweden, and UK, and led by the large emission center of the University of Graz, the University of Technology in Graz, where an onshore full-size system demonstrator is being built. And with that, I'm going to go to the next project I'd like to introduce to you. The idea has already turned into reality, such as the Heimet Ship, and is named Hydrogen Center Austria, or HyCenter, which promotes the use of hydrogen as a regenerative energy carrier, as well as the development of electrochemical systems and their peripheries. On the next slide, you can see, move one slide on, please, Antonio. Thank you very much. The hydrogen test center, the first hydrogen delivery station in Austria, is shown above, and the most advanced fuel cell system integration test bed in Europe. The Heimet Center functions as a focal point and an information platform for hydrogen-oriented research and development activities. On the next slide, you can see mentioned a highly integrated fuel cell analysis infrastructure, aka the fuel cell test bed, which enables virtual testing of fuel cell systems up to 160 kilowatts, simulating dynamic operation and real-life conditions. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much for the very brief introduction and our organization. If you would like to have further information about the LSC and or the Heimet Center, please don't hesitate to contact them directly. The contact data as shown above is at your service. And for me, I'd like to thank you for your attention. But we've gained some minutes, so I don't have to leave immediately. Thank you very much.
So we have some time to questions for you. Does anybody has questions?
Yes, Antonio. So I have a question to Christian. Thank you very much for your very short but very complete and interesting exposition. Tell me one thing. This kind of solutions in terms of clean tech, especially in terms of the fuel and things like that, how is the participation in Austria from universities and centers of innovation in trying to develop the new solutions that can be understood by the companies? And how is the articulation between companies and the universities in trying to have better solutions for the practical needs that the companies have?
Thank you very much for your question. The cooperation between universities and companies is pretty strong since we have a good old tradition of public-private partnerships. And both the LEC is located at the university itself, but is of course cooperating with different companies around, not only Styria, but as you have seen, all around Europe. And they are working pretty close together. The Heimet Center itself derives from the Technical University of Graz, but has been formed into a LTT, I think 15 years below, and itself cooperates with the likes like AVL, Rouge, H2, as you might have heard of, several smaller companies which I think only known in Styria, like Hyptech, and they are constantly searching for collaboration partners, and are pretty successful by doing so. The cooperation is not only limited to European cooperation. We as a cluster and the mentioned research institutions are constantly searching contact to partners, most recently in Canada, like Yonomir, or of course Ballard, or Loop Energy, just to name a few, and try to gain benefits for local industry, of course. Does that answer your question? There were two of them. I'm not pretty sure if I answered both of them sufficiently.
Yes, it's okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jaime, Christian. I have a question for you, Christian. Are you including these projects or proposal about those projects on the recovery plan of Austria?
I didn't get it, Antonia.
Are you including, or have you proposed to include in your recovery plan, in the recovery plan of Austria, those projects?
As far as I know, it happened by the institutions themselves.
Okay, so the institutions are proposing the projects as part of the recovery plan.
I do think so.
Yeah, that is a very good question, because we want to promote those kind of projects and the work on. And how is the cluster involved? Will it be involved in the development of the project, or?
In different ways. Both institutions have been existing for several years by now and have became members of the AC Stereo Mobility Cluster. What we are trying to do is to disseminate the research and the results as like right now, and to make further contacts with other research institutions and or other companies like the Canadian ones mentioned before. We are trying to make public relations for the projects, and if necessary and if wanted, we try to support them in making the proposal to the European Union and its several funding projects. That's about it.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, I don't know if anybody here has more questions.
Yeah, sorry, Antonio. Here is Lorenzo from Arter, Italy.
Welcome.
May I raise a question to the speaker? Yeah, regarding the Heimet Ship project, I saw in the schematic you showed that hydrogen actually enters the engine in the ship. So I was wondering if that is a fuel cell electric engine, or is
no, it's a combustion machine. The hydrogen is burned on the ship.
Okay, so actually the CO2 is a result of the combustion, or
and no, the CO2 is removed from the methanol before the combustion and stored on.
Okay, so it's a combustion. No, I understand now. Yeah. So you remove CO2 to keep it in the cycle, in the loop, let's say, and
exactly.
Then the engine. Okay. The engine is based on hydrogen, but ICE engine, let's say, internal combustion engine.
Methanol, of course, is used because it's easier to store and to transport, and on board the separation of hydrogen into methanol and CO2 happens, and the CO2 is captured, stored, unloaded in the haven, and refed into the production process of methanol.
Yeah.
And as I've learned in my preparation, there's a possibility to burn methanol itself if somebody isn't working on board, but it's only plan P.
Okay. Because otherwise, just using hydrogen is too dangerous and too hard to store and transport.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sorry, Antonio, we don't hear you.
Thank you, Irina. So the question for everyone is, do we have these kind of projects, the projects that the European Commission is requesting, is expecting? Not only you, Christian, but generally speaking, are clusters working on these kind of projects? Or should we promote any kind of actions to engage cluster on those projects? Because here I see a mix on batteries, hydrogen, future-proof technologies. That is the big question. Okay.
Yeah, can you repeat, please? If this
for me, the question is, what kind of projects the European clusters can promote in this area? Okay, and I have another question related. That is, for example, I have a member that is working on logistics. It's a big company on logistics. Okay, and they have a project for developing a new network of facilities, storage areas. Okay, so would that kind of projects be interesting for the recovery plan? It's a general question. I don't know if we are able or not to answer that. Okay, but thinking about the recovery plan is not only, as far as I understand, it's not only about innovation. It's about investment. Okay, and I think that we could mix, or we could propose our members to mix the new technologies with the creation of, for example, the new networks for delivery. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a very narrow picture of innovations and projects that are be done in Styria and are hopefully useful for the European recovery plan. And I do concur. We are always looking for partners, be it clusters or companies, to interconnect and make some investments together and find new markets. Excellent. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that I can say yes to your answer, but maybe we can connect later on to change data and ideas.
Yeah, that will be good. Hello, Marek.
Good morning, Christian. Thank you for this presentation. You know, hydrogen is very high on the agenda of the European Commission. Marek from European Commission, DG Grow Cluster Policy. I just wanted to ask you for two things. You have this project, of course, is going with a very solid scientific basis.
Yeah.
Two questions. One, have you already started to consider the follow-up and involving the financial intermediaries, financial sources like banks, investment banks, someone who can finance your to scale up first, and the second, or businesses. And the second one, the potential of creating startups, spin-offs of your project, so that you have businesses generated from this project. Because I can understand the scientific solidness is there, but it must be put on the market, and without financing and without the market case, it will not be. So can you elaborate a bit on this?
Your first question, regarding your first question, I don't know if there's also if there already have been made thoughts about the scaling up of the project. I don't know. I would have to ask the project leaders themselves. And for your second question, in Austria, and I think in Europe generally, we do have the problem that there are too few who dare to make to risk capital. So we do very welcome the European Recovery Program, because there will be money to fund projects and hopefully to invest into realization of the project ideas, even in a larger scale. And I think there should be efforts made to promote risk management in Europe,
Okay.
risk capital in Europe.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. You answered my question. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Marek. You have changed your camera. Quite different. Okay. So, more comments, more questions.
Good morning. This is ignorance from my part, I believe it is. But what I know by now is that for making 1 watt in hydrogen, we spend 2 watts in electricity. So I believe that as hydrogen is really cleaner, we should work on the optimization of production. Otherwise, it does not make sense.
Yeah. Yes.
All.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much. It is, and big steps forward are made in the regarding the efficiency of hydrogen production, and there are a few signals that we are moving on in the right direction. So if there are several press releases, I think this week's, and we know from the University of Graz that there are steps forward made into the efficiency of hydrogen production and combustion also, but on first hand at hydrogen production. So I'm running out of time. Thank you very much for your interest. I'm looking forward to our next meeting and the video of this one. And maybe we can dig deeper into this topic, which evokes pretty much interest, I sense.
Thank you very much, Christian. Yes, we will continue speaking about it for sure. Thank you and have a very good day. Bye.
See you next time. Goodbye.
Okay. So, are there more references between you? I don't know, Borja from Seaga. Would you like to share some ideas from your side?
Hello, Antonio. Good
Hello,
morning. All. In our case, in the Seaga, Seaga is in the northwest of Spain, Galicia region. We cover more the current factory, and this kind of the hydrogen, for example, projects is so far for our idea. Of course, we know that the hydrogen is very interested in order to the ecological transition, but now the idea that we have now is to help the current factories. And the factories, when we speak with a SMET company and speak about the artificial intelligence, 5G, etc., they saw us with not a very happy face. In our case, we try to create projects about this, to have a pilot about 5G, in artificial intelligence. But in our case now, we are not not very near to this kind of project. We had a project in 2011 about the electric vehicles in so 10 years ago, but now we have not projects about this kind of technology.
Yeah, we are not speaking only about hydrogen. We are speaking about batteries. And
Yeah.
I know that you are building vehicles on batteries for sure.
Yeah. Of course, the batteries are very challenging. That not only in my region, because Spain and Europe have a lot of challenges about this. In the north of Europe, Germany, France have a joint venture to create a battery plant. And I don't know, in Catalonia is working in order to convert the Nissan plant to batteries, but it's a news that the media are speaking. Now we have not clear all. We have that the batteries have has also a challenge because the batteries use a raw material very specific and limited in the natural ecosystem, and we are working to see in the future, but now we have not a clear project, and it's very expensive. It's not easy to speak about batteries because batteries are in the most of the providers that are working the batteries are in China. Well, it's not an easy market, I think.
I heard from one cluster manager, I will keep the name provided, some weeks ago, that there are a big competitive difference between Tesla's batteries and ourselves, and that we could have big problems in the future just to reach the same level of quality from Europe. And that it's a very difficult situation for us. I don't know if somebody has comments on that point. No? Yeah, because we need to face reality. I don't know if that is totally that way, okay, because I'm not expert on batteries, but the general information is that Tesla's batteries are lives longer and are cheaper. As far as I understood, the batteries were going to be included in the, even inserted in the structure of the car, so they will the car will be working as far as the battery were working, because once the battery is finished, the car should be discharged. That is a new concept, but there seems not to be similar technology here in Europe. So the challenge is big. And I don't know if we are working on this. And
hello.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Joaquin from the Andalusia Energy Agency. We are leading a partnership on batteries in the framework of smart specialization strategy. From my point of view, I think that it's crucial, the links between the automotive companies in Europe and the batteries facilities also in Europe. You know, for example, in Sweden, there is Northvolt, a very innovative company working in close collaboration with big automobile companies. And I see this is the way to foster the development of batteries in Europe. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Joaquin. But what kind of activities or projects or linkage should we promote? Have you identified where are the challenges and the opportunities?
Yes, we in this partnership we are working on advanced materials. You know, there is already a very high development on lithium-ion batteries, but there is another opportunity for new material, zincs, and other components, and we are working in medium long-term period of time. We know that it's quite difficult to compete right now with ion lithium batteries, but as I mentioned, there is a lot of opportunities for new kind of new material for batteries. We are also working on testing batteries. There are no facilities or complete facilities around Europe about testing the performance of battery. That is also important. And we, in the partnership, we are working on this kind of projects, looking at medium long term.
And I have asked ICT professional, I have another question. Are you using in these kind of projects artificial intelligence, data analytics on the way the batteries are working and so on? Are you including those technologies on your projects?
Specifically in the partnership, no, because we are more focused on the material of batteries, advanced material on batteries, and not so much in the application of batteries that is could allow the development of the intelligent artificials and other ICT elements. We are the project that we are currently face are more on the new material side, how to recycling also batteries is also an element. As we try to accelerate the transition, as Marek commented previously, because this partnership is under the Smart Specialization platform. We try to accelerate the transition from the market, from the laboratory, you could say, from the lab to the market.
Sorry, Antonio, your mic.
Thank you again, sorry. The same question that before with Christian. Are you, Borja, Jorge, Joaquin, sorry, the others, including your proposals in the recovery plans? Are you proposing your governments to include them?
This is a very good question, Antonio, because I think that in each member state the process is different, and it would be good to know how other countries are working on that. For example, we had the example a good project from Austria. We have already check this project. It's quite interesting. The project presented previously, but for example, for us it could be good to know in the case of Austria how they are managing the selection of the process. There exists some intermediary body that collect all the project and select this project. There's a open call to apply for these projects. I think that in each member state they are organizing in different ways, and it could be good to share also how is this process. For example, if a company in Austria has an important project to promote, who is the body in charge of collecting this project, or where this company can go and ask for budget to finance this project? I don't know if it's clear, my question.
Yeah. Christian is not with us, so I think that we will not have the reference from Austria now. Okay, but I am sharing with you from France. Past Monday, we received some references on calls related to projects for the recovery plan. Okay, so you have in the screen two examples. Okay, from France. As far as I know, in Spain there are no so well structured call for projects until now. Okay, and as you probably know, the different regions are building their proposal. I read that the Andalusia government has estimated one budget of something like 21,000 euros on projects. I didn't read it, okay, but what we are doing in other regions is going to our authorities, contacting them directly and proposing them. And sometimes it works. For example, I can tell you that next Thursday we will have a meeting of our cluster, my clusters, with the vice president of the Aragonese government. Is the vice president of economy, and so we will directly speak with him about projects, proposal, and we are sending for sure him proposals in writing. Okay. But this has been possible through the dialogue, you know, from the proactive dialogue from us. So writing to them, calling to them, defining projects, because, for example, we have one member that has a project on logistics. I cannot give you details because it's not public, but on 107 million euros. So it's not small. Okay. What we are doing is creating that dialogue between our members and the government, and it seems that it's working, at least in some levels. And as far as we know, the regional governments are delivering their proposals to the national government, that will be at the end the collector of all the proposals and the agent that will present them to the European Commission. And just also for your information, we are going to have you probably don't know, but we signed an agreement with the other big networks of intermediaries here in Spain, the network of technological centers, the network of technological parks, the business incubators, and Ametic. And we are going to have a meeting next Friday with the two state secretaries, okay, in the Ministry of Economy, on the Ministry of Nadia Calviño. Just preparing a possible meeting with Nadia Calviño. And so we are proposing them directly to have us, the network of intermediaries, innovative agents, as a main actor in the national recovery plans. For your reference.
Thank you, Antonio. I totally agree that if you want projects, you need to ask to clusters and to companies who has the projects. So it's important. This, as you mentioned, is quite important for us. Also, the connection between the government and the companies, research centers, universities. We are working on that. And okay, I offer you, if you have a project for Andalusia, we are quite open to talk with you, and you have my reference here. So we are open to collaborate with you also.
Thank you very much, Joaquin. We could speak, I am sure, yes. Because sure. Some of our projects are national-wide and not only regional ones. So I am with my tie that is not usual because I am going to another meeting. I will change my connection to the mobile, but we will continue speaking, no problem at all, okay? But I will deactivate my camera. So more questions, more comments from the attendants? So I'm not hearing any. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, Antonio, hello.
Ah, thank you, thank you. Sorry, I have changed to my mobile phone. No more questions or comments? There are many, many opportunities, and what we are finding is that our company, our members doesn't know about those opportunities. This is very important to be said. And so our recommendation, we are organizing this morning session just to share information with you. But our recommendation is for you to do the same with your members, okay? Just to share with them, because most of, I don't know yours, okay, but in our case, most of ours doesn't know even now doesn't know about the opportunity, the need, the possibilities to propose, to organize projects and propose, because usually here they think about innovation projects. Now we are speaking about inversion. And proposes totally different, but they don't imagine it. So it's very important to make the effort to explain them about that and to give them the right support in order to build those proposals, you know. And I know that there are classes that are doing it very well. For example, CEAGA, and they are masters. So congratulations to those that are doing that. But and the rest, we need to learn from them. We need to copy them. Okay. So that is the recommendation. If there are no more comments, we could close for today. And you are invited to join us next Monday. What is about next Monday, Nina, please?
On Monday, we will talk about the role of clusters in e-health, and we will have a session with representatives from the European Commission and with TIC Biomed and with SIBA. So we will have 4 speakers, and it will be about e-health and clusters.
So thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy a very good Friday and weekend, and see you soon, I hope. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Antonio, bye-bye.
Good weekend. Bye-bye.